Like this is a book I make for my letterpress class. So I letterpress these like glass materials to put into my book so that it can reflect and have this like double exposure like effect. This book is about the Cambodian genocide. Okay. So like the government at that time like killed a lot of people. So this book is like tell like the world like who are the people they're killing. So like first I made these prints and then I print out these photos and then I use the typewriter in the library to like type down like who are the like specific community they're like targeting to. Yeah, these are like made in the letterpress studio downstairs, like downstairs.
Oh, would you be able to show us?
Oh yeah, sure. This is a machine we're using for letterpress. So these rollers are like the part we put ink on it. It will just like roll the roller
I see.
It's like makes the ink smooth and just stick the plate like wherever you want. Over here, and also like with other like parts to make it stable. And you put the paper over here and you just like print.
Oh, I see what you're saying, and then it presses the letterpress.
Yes.
And then so lino block, and then a wood cut, and then they're stacked here with gold leafing, and then there's a screen print there.
Okay.
So this is a combination of 3 practices for making. So it's etching, relief, and then also screen. But
Etching?
There's 2 forms of relief.
Yeah, like Okay, so we're here meeting with Michael. And what year are you? Second year? And he's going to describe the relief method.
Yeah, so this is a piece of MDF wood, and then I carved out all this space basically this is like a single color. So there's different ways of doing it. This is probably one of the simpler forms. So basically right now it has ink rolled on a dye-led dry, but usually you take a roller, you mix your ink with a couple different things, dryer and sets well, and then you roll it onto the block, and then you're going to put it on any of these presses here after you set your pressure to your block and the paper, and then basically you mount your block on this. And then you roll it through, and you peel the print.
Okay, so we're here meeting with Oscar, who is the chair of the San Francisco Art Institute Printmaking Department. Would you describe what led you to San Francisco Art Institute?
Good question. So I actually got into teaching kind of late in my career. I had a whole 10 years of practice as kind of a studio artist in New York. And I started teaching because a friend of mine who teaches at Tufts University was on sabbatical. It's in Boston. And so I took over her position temporarily, and I thought, well, teaching is actually really awesome. And it just so happened that at the end of the second term of, I guess, working as her replacement, this job opportunity popped up, and I applied and I got it, and that's why I moved to San Francisco.
What's your favorite part of teaching?
Students. Working with students is really great. So yeah, it's satisfying, it's rewarding.
Do you think teaching influences your artistic practice?
I do, because students constantly bring in like new ideas and new perspectives, and you know, I have to learn new things all the time, and then that really influences what I do in my own studio.
Can you describe a favorite moment at SFAI?
There are many, I think. I have to think about that a little bit. I don't know if it's any specific events, but then like, you know, when I'm working with students and they're like struggling, right? But then like when they get this aha moment, this like coming through moment, when I witness that, it's like the best moments ever.
Awesome. What do you think sets San Francisco Art Institute apart from other schools?
This school is definitely quirky.
Quirky, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's small, everyone knows each other, and there's a certain way of thinking, I guess, about art and life that's really unique to San Francisco Art Institute. I feel like, you know, we're so far from kind of the commercial center of the art world, which is New York, right? And so there's like a certain freedom in thinking about art beyond this like commercial term. So students come up with like, you know, really crazy ideas, right? And that's what makes this place really exciting. And those ideas often have like nothing to do with like how to make money or anything like, you know, it's all those kind of commercial concerns. And then yet they're just really exciting, and then they just kind of do crazy stuff.
What kind of crazy stuff?
Well, I don't know, you know, sometimes like the students, you know, I teach screen printing, and they're like, can we print with like coconut oil? Like, can we print with like this and that? You know, so like material exploration, you know, I have some kind of crazy, you know, some crazy story to do with that, and then, I don't know, it's just like a way of thinking, right, about art and life in general. I make kind of a narrative-based books, so I make comics, and I also make, I write about kind of like little things that happen in my life, and I make kind of a small, almost like a booklet about it. So it's a personal experience, comic books. Well, I think, you know, printmaking always you know, it has historically occupied this precarious place between design and fine art, right? So I think there is kind of like idea that printmaking is really not fine art, right? It's more like an applied art, right? So I feel like, you know, for years we're fighting, you know, to kind of change that perspective, because it is a form of art, you know, but then it can cross over into design and, you know, crafts and other things. So versatility is advantage for us, but then I think for certain artists, these versatility is not necessarily an advantage. So yeah, that is probably the primary kind of misconception that people may have about printmaking. It's about reproducing original artworks as opposed to making original artworks through printmaking.